The journey, the journey, the journey, 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 journey to radiance, 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 journey to radiance.
Talk to us a little bit about your role as a traditional African spiritualist, Orisha practitioner.
Mm-hmm. And to build the bridge for that, and for people that, might not even know what that is, begin with just a definition and then share.
So I think even when we hear the word Orisha, I would say a force of nature. So even when we speak about water and air and fire and wind, those are forces of nature. And we give them these names, right? Whether it's Oshun and Oya and Yemoja and Ogun, Batala and Eshu and all of these names, and so it's how can I say? That's the main thing that I want to start with. That they're forces of nature, and no different. And I'm saying this loosely, but no different from how we are looking at air and water and fire and earth and all of these elements that we need.
Yes.
Right? That we need. So in that bridging, even more of the bridging, for me, it was this was my personal journey and experience, was what I saw, I guess, because it wasn't something that was foreign for me, right? Simply because it's what I saw. But I recognize that it's people who this is not what they may see. But I would even say that it's not that you don't see it, but it may be that you don't recognize it, right? That's like even in our prayers, we'll say all day, God, show me, show me, show me, show me. And it's like, but then the second part to that is, and allow me to see it, right?
Yes.
So we're shown all kind of things all the time. Now, do we see the things that we're shown all the time? Possibly not.
Right.
So this is about a looking and a seeing, and trusting the sight, right? So that's the main thing for me. The main thing for me is how to take these elements and make it palatable, even make it to where it is accepted. Now I have some people who will say, and accepted, I'm using this as that's another word that can be a trigger for some, right? But I'm using that word because it is a part of who we are, right? The language, and that's the main thing, that in my selfishness, right? I don't want the language of it to be a barrier to how we accept ourselves and how we accept the goodness of what comes. Because the reality is that even and I keep going back to this aspect of Christianity, because when we hear Aramaic or this too is a different language,
yes,
right? So a Hebrew and everything else, this too is a different language.
German.
All of these
Even
things.
when we think of
Greek.
the word God.
God
is a German word.
Yeah. So all of these things, Greek, Latin, all of these things are outside of just outside, right? And they will acknowledge that even, they all went to Africa in times of trouble, in times of celebration, in times of study,
In times of financial
in times of
hardship.
financial hardship,
We
of
still
course.
over there now.
Listen,
Financial hardship, everybody going to Africa.
you know, everybody's going to Africa, and now because it's quite often, you know, what we see now is that's a whole nother piece, because we're going there now because it's become easy to go there because we're dealing already with the divided place, so it's easy to take.
Yeah.
Right. But see, this is about how do we go beyond just wearing kente cloth in February to now carrying or you know, acknowledging it just in you know, during Kwanzaa or something like this, but to take every part of ourselves. But see, I have to go back to that aspect of acceptance, because that's what it is about. Do I accept every part of myself? You know, am I in love with every part of myself? And if we're honest, we will answer that and say, no, I'm not. So this journey is about being honest about who we are, and being honest about the fact that we have accepted a white God and a white man's definition of God
spirituality.
and of spirituality. Yeah, and I'm using God, and I know again that listen, I know these words are I'm going back to that, can be triggering kind of words, right? But this is a very real thing, because we've accepted an oppressive and an oppressor's view of how we should worship the all.
Yes.
Right? So
the reprogramming.
And there needs to be a forgiveness process in there of ourselves.
So that's the main thing. So the main thing for me, and going back to what we said about this aspect of forgiveness, I'm for giving up an old notion of myself in order to gain a new perspective. You know, so again, this is about forgiving ourselves over and over and over again, because I'm constantly giving up. Let me give that one up. Let me give this up. Let me give that up. Let me give this up.
Yes.
Right? Because only an oppressor would say, listen, of course I've killed your family. I've drowned all of your neighborhoods, your school. But forget about it. Forget it and forgive me.
And move on.
Move on. So now this is the cultural dynamic, right? And the cultural voice that's playing and playing and playing and playing and playing, the societal voice that's playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. And now it's like, oh, forgive and forget. And we say it so just nonchalantly, forgive and forget. And now we're at the doctor because we can't forget.
Right.
And now the pills don't work to help us to forget. So now we using something stronger because we can't forget. And in the midst of this, it tells you, oh, remember who you are. Wait, but I thought I was supposed to forget all of these things, right? So this is, it's a lot of work that comes with how do we, again, start loving ourselves in the midst of all of the destruction and all of the deliberate attempts to kill you. To kill you. So, and this is, for some people, this can seem very extreme, but it's not. It's not extreme. It's not, and as a matter of fact, it's become so normalized, the numbing of the self, the push down of the authentic self is so, has become so normalized that we think that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, so this is just a tap to the shoulder. So, you know, to say, no, it's not okay. But what is okay is that you can change your mind about it.
Right.
What is okay is that there are moments and moments and moments that can bring you back. And the other part to this is that it may not, again, even though we said that, yes, we believe in this instantaneous revelation, but at the same time, I also believe that it takes time.
Right. There's an unfolding.
There's an unfolding
that happens.
Before that instant revelation comes.
Yeah,
right. And that unfolding has been happening.
That unfolding is always happening.
Right.
The thing is that what we can say okay, this took me years to get over. Now I'm getting closer to the source and self. It's taking me months. That's a celebration. Now it's taking me weeks. That's a celebration. Now it's taking me some days. That's a celebration. Now it's taking me, before
hours away.
Yeah.
That's
Now
right.
before you know it, we can really be present.
Yes.
Before you know it, we can be in the now. So at the same time, this is also about taking it easy on ourselves. So even with bringing it back to, this aspect for me of Orisha, to make it, I wanted these things to be why it would be in poems and things like this, certain songs and words and all of this, is so that it can jar up, is so that it can shake up a remembrance, so that it can shake, even if, because as an artist, we're not always speaking to the conscious part of you, right? As an artist, we're speaking to the subconscious part. So I'm speaking to the part of you that makes decisions. I'm not always the poet. I'm very deliberate about my words, I guess, when it comes to I might stumble over words if we're in a conversation like this, but I'm very, and even in that, I'm still like, is this the right, what's the right word? What's the right? So I'm very deliberate when it comes down to, as far as poetry in that sense, because I want to speak to that part.
Yes.
That is the subconscious, that part of you that makes decisions, that part of you that's like, yes, right? We know that part where, in the universe is like, how they say the universe, all the universe knows is yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, even when we say, but I'm not enough. Yes. But I feel so. Yes.
It's okay.
And then when you start growing, oh my gosh, I'm so beautiful. Yes.
Yes.
I'm so abundant. Yes. I'm prosperous. Yes. All of these kind of things, right? But what I know, what comes with that, is that we have to start shifting, some words. So if those words, if the vibration of them, the historical vibration of it, right? The spiritually historic vibration of it. You might hear people that know songs or hear the songs and everything, hear words. They don't know the meanings of these songs and words, but they know that it's something that's like, man, that kind of did something to me.
They feel it. They feel, right?
I don't know
That's
what
the
it was
thing.
y'all did, but that did something.
That did something. So when people hear like one of your songs, I'm walking in E-Ray. Right. You know what I mean? So you hear that and it's like, I don't know what an E-Ray is, but
that felt good.
Yeah, it felt good. And that's the whole point, right? That we move with the feeling. Society tells us, do not go with the feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But the reality is that we know when something isn't right.
Right.
Well,
We know when
tell you
something's
to move by sight.
That's what they
We
say.
say move by faith,
Yeah.
not by sight.
Not
that
by
goes
sight.
back to what you're saying
Yeah.
in regards to having faith.
Because we might not see, but that's the whole thing, right? Because that's what they tell us. Oh, I got to see it to believe it. But faith tells us, I got to believe it to see it.
Ooh.
Right? So this is what this is. So now I'm back again to this aspect of, what are my beliefs about this thing?
Yeah.
What beliefs have I picked up along the way? What beliefs have, one, like the coping mechanisms, I look up with the coaching clients and everything I have, and it's like, wow, when you remind them, like, man, do you realize that you're using the same mechanisms at 45 that you used at 5?
Come on.
And they like, no. And it's still a pout.
There's still
a pout,
about it. But, so we have to, get to the space where we are, again, now it goes back to this aspect of power, believing that we have the kind of power to shift some things, to really move some things, and to stand up for ourselves, and the courage that comes with that, because that takes some bravery to stand up. So back again to, Orisha and that aspect again of bridging it, because I know what felt good for me. I know what was right for me. I know that when it comes down to, and sometimes you once you start talking to people and you do a reading for people who like, how you knew? It's like, right. Now this is a method that works for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But what I'm telling you is that it's not something that's like I don't know, like it just comes from again out of nowhere. It's still something that comes from inside of you.
Right. Right.
It's still the very thing that is inside of you. We're not saying anything. Anybody that divines or reads or is a prophetess at the church or the evangelist and so forth and so on, right? It's still something that is inside
Right.
of the person,
Right.
So it still all goes back to what is here. What is here? And that's what, when we're talking about the tradition and the spirituality of Ifa and things like that, is that it's something that is inside. Everything is all about just that, what we would say Iwapele. We're talking about character. We're talking about what does it mean to align the head and heart and gut and feet. What does it mean to make sure that our all of these things are in alignment when we're talking about being on a pad-thai destiny. So even when we say these certain names, Ishu, we're talking about who opens the doors. We're talking about Ogun. Once these doors are open, right, here Ogun comes. This aspect that come, blah, 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 come with a machete. Chop away all the obstacles. Chop away the grass. Like, the road is clear.
Now I can see clearly.
Now I can see. I can see clearly now.
The rain's
gone.
That's so good. That's so good all day.
Right?
I can see clearly
so
now.
This is what it's about, right? Then you have Babo Chosi. Now that this way is clear, shoot me forward to my destiny.
Yeah.
In the quickest way.
Yeah.
But in the highest and most appropriate way.
Yeah.
Right? So this is what this is what all these things are about. We're talking about,
and I think about when we talk about the Orisha and the Orisha in this tradition has been translated into French, Spanish, Portuguese. It's been translated into the upper echelons of the educational systems. You can go to these schools and you can study it.
Yeah.
But the thing they never let happen is for it to get translated for the hood.
Come on.
They never allow the 808 to be behind it. And when I think of your work and the work that we're doing, we are now translating those words. We're translating those Odu. And to for lack of a better word, into hip hop. We're giving it to our people now. We're gonna put an 808 behind Ogun. So that you can really understand it. So
What
you're not scared of it now. Because it got an 808. When you talk about walking in E-Ray, why do you feel it? Because we threw an 808 behind it.
And that's our drum. It might not be, the bata in that sense. But this is our bata.
Because the bata is foreign to us.
This is that's what this is. And
but the 808?
No, that's us.
Oh, they can hear it now. Like, oh, bro, that was slapping. Right. Go heavy. I like that, bro. So I think about the work that you're doing is really translating, and making it comfortable. Making it so you can accept it. A lot of times when when you go eat some exotic food, if it don't look the right way, I don't know about that. I don't like that. We won't even taste it. It's
we
not
eat with our
pleasurable
eyes
to
first,
our palate. And so
and it don't look right.
It don't look right.
It don't look exactly.
It don't look right.
Exactly.
But it might be. When we think about just Dr. Phyllis, about this, just health and healing. Some of the stuff that we need to heal our body.
That's right.
How tough it is to get somebody to say, I can drink some of that wheatgrass, or I can, eat this type of food now, because it doesn't necessarily taste good to me, but it's good for me.
That's right.
It's good enough for me.
Right. Well, it may not taste good to you, though, because those taste buds have
been activated.
Exactly.
That's what it's
and that
about.
you've been
Dumbed
eating
down.
so much junk for so long, you don't know good, when you taste it.
So we're talking about spirituality.
That's what that's about.
What have we been eating?
No,
all
and
these
that's
years?
ultimately
And
what
when are
it
we
is.
going to say, I'm going to turn around that package and I'm going to read those ingredients without fear
That's right.
of what those ingredients might be?
That's right. That's right.
And it's okay if I say, you know what? I'm going to start adding Because sometimes it's tough to get rid of a bad habit.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
So
take
we balance
time.
it out by adding another good habit.
Absolutely.
So reading the ingredients
Yes.
Is one thing.
okay.
Yes.
Read the ingredients.
Yes.
Yes,
It's okay.
no.
That's one
And start
start.
slowly moving towards understanding what
That's
those
right.
ingredients are
Yeah.
and where they come from. Because if you turn around a bag of Cheetos, you might not understand what all that stuff means.
Right.
And you might have to go look it up online and
That's
do
right.
some research and
Yeah.
find out that,
Yeah.
oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's what
That
that
that's
red
what-
dye 12 mean?
Right.
Oh man, that do that to me.
Yellow number
Yeah.
5.
You know,
what
it's-
you mean?
yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah. And
goodness.
so we, when we think about it like that, so when we turn around that spiritual,
Yeah.
ingredients and start looking at them and start investigating them
Yeah.
and saying, wow, that's
Yeah.
where that come from?
And
That's what that is?
Yeah.
And we're given clues from the environment. I love what you said about just being connected to nature, ether, air, fire, water, earth,
Yeah.
all of
That's the
these,
Orisha.
right? So now you think about that
Yeah.
and you notice that even if you don't know what to do, if you follow nature, so
Oh,
we're talking about
that's
the end of the year, the best time to plant a seed, right? Then we look at spring when things are starting to come up.
To literally
Right?
spring.
Literally spring forth,
Yeah.
right? And then the time of great illumination in the summertime,
Yes.
right? So you can think through that process. We're now saying, hey, when would be a good time to start thinking through or just coming to a place of acceptance
Yeah.
for yourself in the dark time of the year when you can be still.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead.
But and going back to what we said, being okay with being still.
Yes, be okay
Being
with
okay
it.
with
Sit
being
with
still.
all of it. Sit
Yeah.
with the
Sitting with it,
discomfort,
the
everything.
discomfort.
Things arise and then they subside,
Yeah.
right? So be okay. Breathe through that. We talked about trigger points in the last podcast where you take a breath into the pain, right? And you allow the oxygen to help dissipate that pain, but you sit with it for those
Every breath
few
of life
moments.
is a new beginning.
Come
Yeah.
on now, Ashe.
Yeah.
Ashe.
Yeah.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Journey to Radiance, we're going to, do we have time for a second health and healing moment?
We have to.
Let's take a second health and healing moment, and then we will check out with some points that we'd like to take away from this amazing conversation with the great Sunni Patterson. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Journey to Radiance. I'm your host, Wolfhawk Jaguar.
Quick health and healing strategy. I like to call it drumming, body drumming. And so we're just going to work on just the upper body for the sake of time. And what we'll do is we'll make a loose fist with our hand, with the thumb on the outside of the knuckle, or an open palm, whatever feels right to you. And we'll start right at our shoulder. So if we're using our right hand, we'll start at our left shoulder, and we'll just start drumming the body, right? Making a little noise, listening to the rhythm of the body, loosening up that maybe tight energy around the shoulders and work our way down the arms. Just bringing some energy, using the body like a drum, and work our way back up to the shoulder. And then let's go to the other shoulder. Left hand to the right shoulder. Breathing slowly and deeply. Working our way down the arms. If it's too intense, you can open the palm. Whatever feels right to you. And just hit the back of the neck a little bit. Think about what you might be carrying on those shoulders. Loosen it up. Give the body the opportunity to let it go. And then lower the hands down. Take a breath in. And as you exhale out, just sit for a moment with the sensation that you feel from the body drumming.
Nothing like a good body drumming. Activate the body. Takeaways from today's Journey to Radiance, end of the year health and healing strategies. What I'm going to take away really is faith. I think that was a core thing that you were saying, Sunni. Believing that you're on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
Believing that you are being guided and protected by your ancestors. And that you can make it through.
Yeah.
You can look inside of you for the answers that you need to heal yourself, your family, and your community.
Yeah, that's good.
Dr. Phyllis, a takeaway.
I'd say trust. Trusting in what you know to be true. Trusting in the truest part of yourself and going on that journey.
Ashe. Sunni, takeaway.
I'd say a couple things that come up. Belief is one. Believing that we have the power. Period.
Period.
An exclamation point. Exclamation
Capital
point.
B-E.
Yeah. Capital B-E leaf. Yes. Believing that we have the power.
Faith.
Yeah. I'm thinking about specifically with this time that we're in and the sicknesses, the illnesses, the people experiencing cancer and kidney disease and diabetes and heart disease and breast cancer specifically. It's a lot of breast cancer and then fibroids and things like this that's coming up a lot. But it's also saying the belief in our biology, believing that we can raise our biology to our consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Journey to Radiance, end of the year health and healing strategies. Until next year, ladies and gentlemen, blessings are now. And be safe out there, young travelers. Journey to Radiance. It's Wolfhawk Jaguar, Dr. Phyllis Hubbard, and the great Sunni Patterson. Get out of here.
Journey to Radiance, 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 Journey to Radiance. On a journey to radiance, the beauty is so evident. When you shape, shift, and form, break away from the norm. Higher levels of achievement, persistence is needed. A campaign for black male achievement, rooted in cultural relevance, opening the door for healing, flooding the mind with positive images. It's up to us to start loving us and really start believing. Black male reimagining the image of our greatness, building communities and taking ownership and knowing it's not about keeping score, but brothers coming together from shore to shore. And sure, the pain is the same. The game ain't gonna change until we become the change that we wanna see. I know we gonna win. Muhammad Ali, one is manifesting collective wealth. What a blessing guiding you on your journey to radiant health. Journey to radiance, 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 journey to radiance.
I know just who I am, who I aspire to be, healing, evolving through my creativity. When I am faced with the fear that tempts me to flee, I take the time to breathe, so I can clearly see that I was born with all the power to overcome challenges trying to prevent my progression. Outside influences have no effect, you see. Nothing will stop me from setting my spirit free.
Journey to radiance, journey to radiance, journey to radiance, journey to